adventure about all things board games. Sitting around the table today are
Reed,
Becky,
Gillian.
and I am Angela. Today we are recalling the sequel to Revive, Recall, where we harken back to a simpler post-apocalyptic alien future. But first, what's bringing you joy?
I know we talked about joy games, but I was like, I forgot this part. I was legitimately like, oh no.
Becky, you forgot an entire part of the podcast.
Becky
that
doesn't
we-
remember joy.
I was like rereading my
Well,
recall
that's kind of a
notes
diss on
and then-
myself. Sorry.
Aw.
Hashtag truth.
Wow.
Angela.
Becky, what's your joy? It's
Okay.
definitely not your husband.
Wow.
What if your joy is now
Now
your
it
husband?
has to be.
Yeah, it does.
Well, okay. Gillian actually is part of my joy. So this will be no surprise to any of you once you hear what I'm saying. But on a spontaneous game night, Gillian taught us Hanami. And that game was incredible because it is the very expensive Kickstarter deluxe. Gillian's making a face. I don't actually know what it is. But the little chunky tokens are amazing.
Yeah, they're onigiri token,
Mhm.
and then there's a
Cherry blossom.
cherry
Lanterns.
blossom,
And
a
lantern.
Blossom.
Yeah, there's flowers. It's so cute. It's really beautiful.
Angela was going to buy it and then discovered it was like $100. And she's like, no thanks.
And I said, whoa. I still think about it, though, to be honest with you. I was like, well, you know, what are you going to live for? Yeah, you should probably just buy this game.
aside from the chunky tokens, it's really fun gameplay too.
It
And-
was fun,
We don't even really play area control, and we were like, this is great.
but it wasn't like mean area control except for Reed.
Yeah, and
Okay,
Gillian.
I wasn't mean. I just went to a spot where nobody else went and then just built out my whole little land there. It was lovely.
That was one of the games. But it reminded me of Rumble Nation, but I liked it more than Rumble Nation, though it has been a while since we played that game. I think in Rumble Nation you're rolling dice, and then those are you have some options about where you can put stuff on the board based on your dice rolls. But this one, you can put your tokens anywhere on the board. There are a bunch of hexes, and you're trying to surround one of the chunky tokens so you can take it to score at the end of the game, hopefully, which there are only 3 points available at the end of the game, which I also think is super interesting. And so you're just trying to have the most symbols, numbers around something so you can get it.
Yeah, I like that. There's a token you put on the board if you're able to surround it with the most kind of power as opposed to your opponent's power. You get the token. If it's a tie, nobody gets the token. And then at the end, when you're just trying to score these 3 points, an onigiri point, a cherry blossom point, a lantern point, if you've collected all these little onigiri because they're secret and hidden, and you're like, yay, I have so many, and then Gillian reveals he has the same amount as you, and you're like, you son of a jerk face, neither of you gets the point. And there's only 3 points.
That's how I almost won a game, I think, and then Reed won.
Reed's
because of a
rude.
tiebreaker, maybe.
I did win because I had more of the other pieces.
Yeah, that was...
Because we left her alone on the island to her own devices.
I did get all the things on that island.
It's so beautiful, though.
Yeah, so Hanami is a reimplementation of Samurai, which is a Rainer Knizia game. I don't remember when the original was published, but it's been out of print for some time, and so they did a re-theme of it as Hanami, and I really enjoyed it. It was very simple. Like, the rules are very straightforward. It's not complex whatsoever. It's one half step up from Rebirth, which is another Rainer Knizia game that came out recently. But it has just the right amount of strategy to try to plan ahead and figure out what you want to do to make it enticing. Because you do, at the beginning of each turn, you have, I think, 5 tiles in front of you that you get to choose from. And that selection there allows you to kind of strategize and plot out what you want to do. So I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah, and the production was amazing in that game.
Yeah, the cost is at least 3 Faya Swamps. So
No, it's 2 Faya Swamps.
2.5 Faya Swamps.
And
Okay, that's fair.
what does that equal?
Money, money, money.
Faya Swamp is approximately $50 in United States of America dollars.
Not in this economy.
Or as Angela says, American dollars.
American dollars.
You can tell that it's the United States if you say it with that accent.
American dollars.
America.
America. Well, I thought I should hop on the Gillian appreciation bandwagon, Becky, since you don't. So Gillian surprised us, even Becky, with a game called Tiny Mountain Goats. They were all in these little tiny bags, and Becky's like, "What is this?" And we played Tiny Mountain Goats, and it's a version. It's kind of like Can't Stop, but you roll dice and you move things. It was just so cute and delightful. And they come with these little tiny, tiny meeples of goats. And the art is by Sai Beppu. You just go up a mountain. And I was like, this is pure joy.
A+.
I love the colors. The cards make the mountains, and it ranges from 5 to 10. And it's a rainbow. It's beautiful. Like you said, the tiny goats are perfect. The colors are amazing.
They look like Smarties. Like they're
Yes.
Smartie color, and they are delectable.
I want to eat them.
I was like, please don't eat them. We cannot advise
They
that.
are a choking hazard. No 0 to 3. No babies. This game is
No
not
babies.
for babies.
This is not a game for babies, but the gameplay could be for babies.
It's true.
very easy.
Baby
It's
gamers,
true.
for sure. And other gamers who like to take joy in tiny mountain goats.
And babies.
No?
Okay,
Debatable.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Well, I'm glad you guys liked it. I liked it as well. I've had Mountain Goats, the original version, on my shelf for a while. But then when I saw that All Play was releasing Tiny Mountain Goats with art by Sai Beppu, I was like, oh, I need to jump on that. It was supposedly limited, so I bought 3 copies. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It's just a fun, just silly game, casual, like just roll some dice, move some goats,
Gillian,
profit.
You're my favorite person because I thought about getting Tiny Mountain Goats, and I was like, no, I cannot be lured in by this Sai Beppu art, or I will buy everything. And then also Gillian. Anyway, it was limited, so I bought 3. And I was like, you are a delightful creature. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
Yes.
welcome.
To go back to the bags, it was Angela's birthday celebration. So I was like, wait, Angela has 3 presents, but they're definitely larger than those bags. So I was very confused about what Gillian was up to. I had no idea.
No, it's funny because I had the 3, like that whole thing played out differently than I wanted it to, because at that point I was like, when are we gaming? Because we had been chatting for so long. I was like, I just want to play some games. And so I was like, here. And I gave you all the gift, and I didn't even explain, like, oh, yeah, it's for each of you, because I wanted everyone to have a copy. And Angela's birthday was like in the middle, so it like made sense.
Aw.
Guys, we talk too much. We should start a podcast.
Should we record while we eat dinner?
Future Angela editor says no.
I didn't feel good about it either, but
We need to play more games.
Speaking of more games, we recently had a bit of a marathon of a game that is bringing me joy right now, and that is the game with the longest title, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, trick-taking game. We started playing this about a month ago, I think, and made it through several scenarios, but man, it is a very fun cooperative trick-taking game. And we played through the second chapter, I think is what it is. And it was just a lot of fun. It was very challenging at times. And the rules evolve just enough. You have new characters that come into play that have different requirements, so the rules change from like chapter to chapter. And so I found that just a delight. No, I said like we played through the first part of the game is what we did, not chapter. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Is a lot of fun.
I moved away from my microphone, indicating you could speak since you were going to talk.
She's just tooting.
You have to give me permission, Becky, to
Oh my
speak.
God. No, but we were both moving towards the microphone at the same time. So
Wow.
then I stepped aside so you could go forward.
She didn't even step. She just
Yeah,
leaned.
she just leaned over to the side. Gillian, like this game a lot. I've been thinking about it. We died like 5 times in a row. My favorite part is if you are playing and it's your fault that we die, we shame you. It's almost like you have to get the Slambo
That's
cards out.
not in the rule book.
It is. It should be. If your cooperative teammate is the one who biffs it, then we just go, no, sorry, don't mess it up for us. Because it's surprisingly difficult at times to be able to get all of the requirements. It's like a much better version of the crew. So if you are into cooperative trick taking, and I will also say thematically, it brings me a lot of joy because there's a narrative card that sets up the round, and then Gillian reads it in his Gillian voice, and we go, oh, yay, adventures. Also, you can be that pony.
Oh, you love the pony.
Dude, that pony is lit.
I believe the pony can only have one trick.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like the easiest one to get.
Because
He's a
it's one
one-trick
trick pony.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we constantly made that joke, and Becky just picked up on it now. So.
Did you really, Becky?
Oh my gosh.
She's
I
a little
didn't-
dense.
I didn't know you
Oh,
guys are making the
no.
joke.
Yeah, she's a little dense.
No, I was busy doing other things, probably like cooking you dinner.
No,
Oh,
you
thank
were
you.
literally playing the game with us when we said, "Oh, the one-trick
Okay.
pony."
Well, I don't know if you guys remember, but the first time we were playing, I was the one to blame a lot for messing up, and so
You mean
I
all
was,
the times we played?
so I
Yeah.
was very focused.
I didn't
No,
want to say it, Becky, but you outed yourself.
I did really well on Sunday.
Yeah, it was Reed's fault most of the other
Yeah,
times.
thank you.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't think it
sorry.
was my fault. I think I'm great.
You're great.
I'm great. Thank you. I have had a rough day. I just need to tell myself that. I should have known that coming here to be built up might not be the right move. I really enjoyed this game, and I am not as familiar with Lord of the Rings as you all are, but I think it's a really fun storyline to have. It's like enough of a theme to grab onto.
Yeah, she didn't even know elves or dwarves were a thing.
No, I did too.
Do you know there's a dragon in it?
I
Okay,
did.
Angela,
I
technically
did.
not. Technically not. That's the Hobbit.
That's true.
No.
There's a like flame demon.
Yeah, the flame is that not
The
a dragon?
Balrog.
No.
Like, oh, okay. Well, it looks like a dragon.
Not all dragons are flame demons.
Read.
Not all flame demons.
I
are
watched them when they
dragons.
came out many, many years ago.
Also, the artwork in this game, I am obsessed with it. It's not quite stained glass. I
No,
don't
it
know.
is kind of like a stained glass
Yeah.
aesthetic, which I really enjoy. It's simple but effective, and it's just it's very pleasant.
Good game. 10 out of 10.
I really like that they didn't just take like captures from the films or whatever and
Oh,
put them on there. I love
absolutely.
that they had their own art that was unique to its version, and even like the characters aren't like reminiscent of the movies. So I like that about it too, where they have their own like versions of the characters.
Ugh, I'm so glad Legolas does not look like Orlando Bloom.
Becky doesn't like Orlando Bloom, guys.
Wow.
Okay, we
Reach up
can
over.
dig into that a little bit
Yeah.
later.
She doesn't know Lord of the Rings, but she knows Orlando Bloom. Let me tell you.
I'm a
On
big
our
pirate of
on
the
our second
Pirates of the
podcast,
Caribbean.
Breaking Down Becky.
Oh, it's like a
Interesting.
serial killer movie.
That's why we go paddleboarding.
Oh gosh,
No,
golly.
that sounded sadder than it was. Anyway.
Go touch water, Reed.
Okay, well, sitting around the table with you all brings me
Gillian.
joy.
Oh, boo.
Becky.
I know it is. It is a
Angela,
boo.
you're supposed to say Angela.
I don't think we can go around. It takes us a long time to go around and say our names.
Takes
Longer-
Reed at least 3 times to get it right.
Longer than we should admit, or I should admit. But over the last 2.5 years, I have not been living in my house after house fire, which we have talked about previously. And for Angela's birthday celebrations that we spent a lot of time playing games, a big portion of that was at my house. And it was lovely to get to play games, not around a table because I have a square table, but we were at a table, and it was great.
That table real square. I forgot how square it is. Like it's big.
We're
and
like,
square.
how do we sit for each game to make it work?
It's true. It's a little bit different every time.
Also, your new house is gorgeous.
Amazing.
You're a really great host.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, the fridge is filled with like soda waters and Diet Cokes and cookie balls and
And the cupboards are filled with.
Well, no, the cupboards aren't filled with anything. That's the problem. I don't have any bowls or serving spoons.
it's like a secret game to put all the things on the list that you don't have. You're like, forks? Who need a can opener? No, thank you. Although I love, one day we should do a podcast where we talk about the tips to hosting a successful board game night, because what I really appreciate is the slow creeping panic when you had to make dinner while we were playing and you were like, I am not prepared.
Well, I don't know how you all make dinner and then we play games and then just go eat dinner. Like, when do you cook the dinner?
That's what it's like to be a magical cooking being.
Angela's much better at that game than I am. I make dinner before we play games, and then it makes it so we play games late sometimes.
That's why I bring pizza a lot.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you're back in your house for all of the reasons that it's nice to be in your own home, and also it is amazing for board games.
Thank you. And Gillian set up my board game shelves, which I have talked about, but they are so amazing to be able to see how much room I have for more games and to get to see them all together. I have a lot of family games, which I don't think I realized.
Not very many
that.
crunchy games.
No.
I tried to. I really wanted to throw a couple in the bin for Angela and me, but it didn't pan out.
Look, my favorite thing about being at your house, Reed, is ain't none of them games opened, sleeved, or punched.
I totally
it's
play them.
It's
and
like a mini game of us sleeving.
Oh, what do we want to play?
Opening.
Oh, that's not punch or sleeve. Okay, guys, you guys sleeve while I go
everybody
find out what's for dinner.
Get the 100 sleeves. Let's start. We'll just do it together.
It's way more magical. We just decide we're playing a game, and then the three of us start opening it and sleeving it while Reed is doing something else.
There was one game where I was like, did I actually sleeve that before you guys did
The answer was
this?
no.
No.
I think Everdell I sleeved.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's true.
But sleeving Ares Expedition right before we played it was probably a pretty big lift. So thank you all.
We're here
that.
for you, Reed.
We did it.
Recall, the sequel to the 2022 game Revive, is published in 2025. It plays 1 to 4 players. It's designed by Helge Maser, Christian Alfmanson, Kit Svensson, and Anna Wordman. The art is by Herman Bone and Reese Keefe. It's published by Pegasus Spiele and retails for 99 United States of America dollars. Reed, how do we play Recall?
Here's some info from the designers. As Angela mentioned, it is by the same designers of Revive, and it focuses on engine building and exploration. Throughout the game, you'll lead your tribe, explore the lands, and discover traces of ancient civilizations to learn from them. On your turn, you either use a key card to activate an action box, or recall to produce resources and regain your key cards. When you use a key card, you activate the abilities of the key card itself and the effects of the chosen action box. The chosen combinations of key card and action box will therefore determine what you get to do on your turn. Populate the lands, move your followers, explore new regions, and build workshops, vaults, or monuments. During the game, you will improve your tribe by acquiring new key cards, upgrading your action boxes, or collecting ability stones and relics. An important part of the game is searching dig sites for traces of ancient civilizations. These sites unlock access to the abilities and gadgets of ancient tribes in addition to providing important scoring opportunities. 3 times during the game, players must choose one of 2 paths, with the chosen path providing an immediate bonus, as well as boosting one of the endgame scoring categories. And that's a little bit more about Recall.
Even though the description and going through the rule book is very thematic for me playing the game, the theme doesn't really come through, which doesn't bother me. I'm very focused on what I'm doing, but the theme means nothing.
I agree, but I felt the same way about Recall or Revive.
This is
Sorry.
Recall.
Yeah, one of these. I will only do that 8 more times this podcast. The theme never resonated as a post-apocalyptic world per se for me. The art on the cards for Revive was kind of trying to channel that, but the board, and there's these weird alien heads. That's not what it's about for me. But I do like that it's pretty. I was like, it might not be thematic, but at least it kind of vibes. Yeah. Becky, this game has no theme.
I think it's interesting that you think it's pretty.
Yeah.
Say more, Becky.
Well, I mean, if you think of something like Hanami, I'm like, wow, gorgeous, amazing, jaw-dropping, pretty. But I don't know. I don't think this game is necessarily I wouldn't call it pretty. I don't think it's utilitarian either. It's pleasant to look at, but there's a lot of just like browns. Like the last game we played, we just finally realized there were some little pigs on the farm tiles. I don't know. Nothing really like stands out.
Wow.
No, not
I was like,
exactly.
Overly critical.
That's like a
Jeez
sick
Louise.
burn for the. I was like, it's fine. Jeez.
Yeah, no,
could
it
be.
is.
It's pretty. It's not like dog trash. It's not like a cat vomited on it.
No, I'm not saying either of those
I don't
things.
know about this.
I'm not saying either of those things. I just wouldn't call it pretty. It looks good. I'll say that. It looks good.
Becky's just digging herself into a hole. Like, yeah. Anyway, so Recall, and it's to Becky and Angela's point, like the theme isn't very pervasive throughout the game, but I feel like there is a bit there that I am able to latch onto as you play. As you play the game, you're going to be exploring, much like in Revive, these different face-down tiles. But in contrast to Revive, there are only a certain number of them. They're large, 7 hex size regions that you're going to flip over versus the 4 hex spaces that you'll flip over in Revive. So there are fewer of them here, but each one has different terrain types. The hexes all have different terrain types that you work out. And I feel like the aesthetic of the game is kind of earth tone. I would say it's kind of like beigey brown, but I thought it was easy to digest what you needed to in the game. I felt like it was functional, if not exceedingly beautiful. I shouldn't say if not exceedingly beautiful. I would say like it's not exceedingly beautiful, but it's functional. That's what I meant to say.
Functional is a great way to describe it. And what I was saying, basically.
Revive being some of the people sitting around this table's top few games of all time, there is a lot of buildup and pressure for it to be a good successor to that. And I think I was expecting a little bit more about how it would be a successor to Revive, but did really enjoy how it was distinct and how they kind of updated the mechanics for that. But I do have to say that the aesthetics of this did not hit that for me. It went a little primary color meets nucleum in the way that it put colors together. And that wasn't my favorite when I look at Revive and I think, wow, these colors are some of my favorite colors.
See, I feel the opposite because I think the board in Revive is a little more cruddy brown around the edges, and I like that the Recall board has a lot more white, which makes the colors pop a little bit more. I will say the boards for me in Recall are much more vibrant, dynamic, and interesting because they have so many dual layered characteristics to them.
How dare you?
I know, and I will say that I like one game more than the other, and I do think Recall does a good job on its board, but Revive just has that really interesting mechanism, and so the boards are more interesting. But I don't know. I think the white makes the Recall board pop more.
Because you keep getting them mixed up, I don't even know which game that you like better. But
You know, Rick, you know.
Oh, were you going to say more about that?
that was it.
Speaking of the board, but not how it looks, I do like the map better in Recall. I think it feels more manageable and like more like I can make progress across it. Sometimes it feels really difficult to do as much exploring as is required in the Revive map because they're smaller and more pieces. And in Recall, this is going to be hard keeping them straight. In Recall, it's not as wide and we're all kind of going mostly in the same direction. And so I think that also helps with getting the map revealed. And so you can make more of a plan of where you're going, where in Revive, like you truly are you're like exploring and trying to survive, and you may be kind of on your own, but trying to stay close to somebody, but not too close.
The connection between the two games on the map is one of my favorite parts of Revive and Recall, now that we've played that. I love how when you build something next to, I think they're farmlands in this one. I'm not sure what they are. They're kind of the corally brown color tiles that have prizes on them. But when you build next to them, you get the resources that are depicted or the benefits that are depicted. And I like how if you have something built out on the edge of a tile and a new tile is flipped, and it is one of those special, I'm calling them farm tiles. I don't know
They're
if that's
town
what
tiles, I think.
town tiles.
Yes.
Then you get the benefit if it touches what you've built. And I really love that kind of strategy of being able to benefit from building on the edge of a tile so that you get what comes next.
That was also present in Revive.
Yeah,
and
it was
you
the
can
water.
benefit from there. Yeah. So it's going to be hard, obviously, in our conversation right now, not to compare Recall and Revive. But in terms of Recall's kind of characteristics, it's, I would say, fairly similar in terms of aesthetics. Like it had kind of a similar vibe to it. The gameplay, however, differentiated itself quite a bit, but it still shared some similarities. So one of the main characteristics that changed in Recall relative to Revive is really how you have the key cards that activate the actions that you're playing. So in Revive, in comparison, you had cards that were multi-purpose, and depending on if you place them on the top or the bottom, you'd activate different aspects of the cards. Here you have a prescribed set of 6 actions printed on your player board that are going to be static throughout the game. Once you place a key card in there, that is no longer accessible to you unless you activate kind of one of the other key cards that allows you to activate one of the other ones that you have available to you. But nonetheless, like here you have the prescribed set of actions that you can take. And kind of going off into Reed's point or Becky's point rather, in terms of exploring in Recall, like only one of the actions allows you to actually explore new tiles. And because there are so few of them in Recall, it can be somewhat of a quick thing to explore the entire map over the course of the game. And so that kind of aspect of just having those kind of static actions available to you that over the course of the game, depending on how quickly you go up the victory point track, those may upgrade fairly quickly and give you an additional boost to what they do, but those are kind of the actions available to everybody. So there isn't really the asymmetry there in the actions that you can do, but there is asymmetry in the tribe that you play as. And so those may give you some kind of boon or benefit that you can activate through these different tokens that you will accumulate throughout the game.
The exploration of tiles, which we've talked about, because we do get to the end of the map, and we have in a few of our games, I think, where we've flipped over all the tiles, that is a great way to get victory points, and it is also something that feels like a race, and it is very frustrating when someone takes that tile from you, and I do feel like in our last game, we really opened all the tiles pretty quickly.
I think that's one of the reasons, spoiler alert, that I like Recall a bit more than Revive, is because you used to have resources to flip over the titles in Revive. In Revive, you have to have goods to like flip over the thing, and you have to. So then I think kind of how I feel about Wingspan is I'm trying to go get resources to go do a thing, and then you get resource tight, and I'm like, I hate this. And in Recall, it's actually an action that you can take, and then you'll score victory points based off of how many people are the other players are on the neighboring tiles next to you. And I was like, I like this mechanic because I'm not trying to save up my resources to reveal a thing. It does make it feel like the tile flipping is more like a points grab and a rush than it is around I've got to save up. It's like I got to try and like be really strategic about getting this thing to get this thing, and I have to do it before somebody else does. And so I almost appreciate that I don't have to do that anymore.
I actually like that about Revive, where you have to use the resources, because it felt more thematic to me. You're going on expeditions to go explore this new region that's unexplored. you're coming out from the underworld, the subsurface to explore the surface again. So you need the resources to actually go explore these new territories. I just felt like in Recall that wasn't very thematic whatsoever. It was just this one like raw action that you would take, and it's like, oh, you flip over the tile just, and you okay, cool. And it just felt anticlimactic to me in comparison.
I'm glad that that's where you got the theme from. You're like, anyway, we're on an adventure and we have to have goods and services.
I mean, I just got that out of Revive. It felt more thematic to me than Recall did.
Yeah, Revive definitely does the theme better with that. But I don't know. When I think about what I like about Recall, I'm kind of more aligned with Angela. I appreciate that it's a little bit easier to get the board up, and especially because there's so many spaces on there, it gives me more information for where I need to be going based on my end goals or what I'm trying to accomplish. And so I do think it's interesting that they kind of distilled it down to one resource, the crystal that you can refine into a refined crystal and then an ultimate crystal. Pure crystal. And so that has a conversion rate of, it takes 3
to 1.
But I don't know. I didn't hate it. I kind of wish I had different colored crystals to swap out, but that would take too much time.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you're hitting it on the head, and maybe why the game resonates with me a little bit more than Revive did is I like the simplicity of some of the things. Like, I'm not trying to get resources of 3 different types and move them up the tracks on my personal board. I'm actually focused on the shared player tracks that are on the board that we all go up together and racing to get the bonuses before somebody else gets them on the track. And that the resource, I'm not like desperate to try and get a book. And I was like, no, we just get crystals in this game. I don't have to get books. And then I can't remember what the other... Food.
Rena and I are both like, the third
Are we
one?
talking about Revive?
Yeah. What are the
It's
3
gears, food,
Oh,
and
gears.
books.
Gears, obviously. Who could miss that one?
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
That's
so.
my favorite track. That's why I know that one.
So I, as you can tell, like one of the things I like about this game is it's a little bit simpler for me. And even Becky, when you were talking about how we're all kind of going in the same direction at the beginning of the game, I was like, whoa, I actually do love that about this game. Whereas in Revive, you're kind of plopped in the middle and everyone just immediately spreads out and you can't do that in the same way. Which is probably why Reed likes it.
Wait, what do I like?
I was just
I was
sassing
like,
you.
what? I like to be left by myself so I can explore on my own. That is probably why I spoiler alert, like Revive better. I don't know if I'm ready to say that, but it's true.
I feel like that makes you right to say it.
The asymmetry of the tribes in this, you do a picking of the tribe and then it has another card. So there are 2 cards that you pick that comprise your asymmetrical powers, and you still have to activate those usually. I don't know if it was all of them or just the ones that I got, where you have to use a stone, a relic stone. Is that what
Ability stone.
An ability stone. And I rarely used my asymmetric power, so that didn't drive my game very much.
Yeah, I would say like the asymmetric powers could be beneficial in some cases, but there were a lot that felt underwhelming. And so it was hard to really, especially in the beginning of the game, like when you only have 2 ability stones to your name, it was really hard to like really utilize those effectively. And so there were multiple games where I didn't use it in the early game, but towards the end I had enough ability stones to where I was able to do it without issue. But yeah, I agree. It was the asymmetry in Recall. It was difficult to exploit, at least in the early game.
I did use the volcano hopping ability. That was the one that I used the most in one of the games to explore fastest. Like I could get faster, further, faster than everybody else because I could go through these spaces that were blocked off to other people.
I do want to take a moment to just kind of explain the ability stones. So when you flip over a new tile, there can be a couple of hexes that require ability stones be added or cubes. There are 4 different colored cubes. So the ability stones, I don't remember what the theme is. So if you guys do, you can...
They're mines, essentially,
Okay.
that you...
So you put 3 on there, and then when you take the first one away, it takes less resources. But then when you try to take the second one away, it's more, and then the third one takes the most resources. But it also, each one, depending on which color you take, is going to move you up on one of the 3 book tracks or knowledge tracks that we all share that get you to those tribal powers. And then with the cubes that also go on the board, when you go through it with your workers, like your little handful of people, you have to leave one behind so they can pick it up at the end. And again, thematically, I don't remember what those are. Looks at Gillian.
Relic cubes, is that what they're termed?
That maybe that we can't resist. Like, you have to stop if you go through a relic cube and leave a person. But so then you pick those up, you put them on your board, and it's kind of like a little set collection thing, which is going to help you go up on your books and then also score you victory points at the end.
So I'd say in you talking about that just brought something to my mind of kind of contradicting what Angela or you had said earlier of like crystals are your only resource. Actually, people are your other resource because you need them to actually pick up things and do things on the map. So you need to have people out there to execute actions in addition to crystals. So it's like there aren't just the crystal resources.
No, that's definitely true. That it's not just crystals, but it's not like you have your books and your gears and your food and your crystals, because you also have some people in Revive. Wow, it's been a while
You
since
just
I played
don't
Revive.
like to be learned or feed your people. So
Feeding people is exhausting.
You use your resources, your books, to place out people in
Yeah.
Revive to populate.
Yeah, the resource cubes in the first few games kind of struck me like the lightning is in Revive. Felt similar. Like, it's a free action for you to be able to use it most of the time. And then you can use it on one of these abilities that you can collect throughout the game. And then you can put 2 on to activate it again. And then 3 on to activate it a third time. And I was like, yo, free actions. So I raced to get ability cubes in the game so I could do these free actions. And the variability in the game is that you mix up they're like randomly drawn what the asymmetric are, but aren't they the same tiles we end up using for what you get at the end of the book track?
there are a few that are potentially out of the game. You shuffle them up and then you put some number in a pile and then discard the rest.
So as you play more, you're going to see all of them. Some of them will be attached to you at the beginning, but some of them might be for you if you make it to a certain point on those tracks we all share. And I liked that a lot because it didn't just give me a resource, which I was desperate for in Revive, but actually let me do some really cool actions. It was like, get some extra people, take an extra action, take out a key card. And I was like, cool. It's like a free side game.
I would say like Revive is similar too, because as you go up your individual tracks, you'll get customized or like individual tokens that you'll place that will represent the action that you just revealed. And there are ones that will say like, oh, you get to discard one of your people that you just slotted in. And so it's very similar in that regard. There's a lot of DNA between Recall and Revive, which is why we keep comparing them. But in that regard, I would say like Revive and Recall have that similar mechanism of you get these asymmetrical abilities between the players, and then you can leverage them differently depending on how you want to play your game.
Okay, I do hate, though, when it's only a trash selection in Revive. When it's like, I finally get to put something in there, and then everything is like duplicates and trash.
I will say in Recall, you go through, and if you're the last one to progress along a track, you have a single tile that you can choose from to customize and add to your little tableau as technology. And so you can have no options, essentially.
It has worked out for me because I've been very slow on those tracks, and I'm very terrible at getting ability stones. I focus on other things, so it kind of works out. I'm like, oh, cool, a free thing.
Like, I'm bad at 2 things, and it didn't.
Exactly. I don't have an ability stone to put here, so it's fine.
Totally fine.
I do think we should talk about the key cards a little bit more in depth as well. So in Revive, you have the cards that have the top or the bottom action, and it depends on how you play it on your board for which one you're activating. But the key cards, there are the basic ones, which I don't remember exactly what they give you, but they have symbols on them. First you start with blank ones, and then you can upgrade them into these more simple ones, and then they have 2 more levels of like kind of better actions, and they really help for just chaining your actions so you can do more things in a turn. And I do I do enjoy the keys. I actually really liked them. There are goals that encourage you to get multiple ones so you can score more at the end of the game. And I don't know, those ones I think are fun upgrading. And then I get really like in my brain, and I think I'm doing this really intense key math about like what the bonuses on them are. Some of them give you people, some give you crystals, movement.
Yeah, so the keys you can upgrade through different means. So on your personal board, you can build one of 3 different types of structures and put it onto the board. The centralmost, which I think is the workshop, that's going to be the one whenever you build one of the, is it the 6? Yeah, I think there's 6 of them. Whenever you build one of the 6, you get to gain one of the key cards. And they're different colors. There's the base one. There is a green one. There's a black one, which is the most, or the gray one, which is like the most advanced and worth the most points at the end of the game. But building these different structures will gain you new key cards, which will have different abilities. At any given time, you only have 3 to select from. So similar to your complaint about the tiles and revive, I would say the same holds true for the key cards, because there were several times where I wanted to upgrade, wanted to build this structure, but I'm like, none of the key cards do what I want them to do. So I guess I just have to like bite my teeth or bite my lip and do it anyway.
I struggled with upgrading my key cards. I don't think I maybe upgraded more than once with them. I did try and get more, but tended to only get yellows for the most part. And I think I played one game with all yellows and maybe one black one.
Dang, Reed.
I was like, Reed,
I
do
don't
you
think
know, like,
I was very good at this game.
Guys, that's why it's not her favorite. that could be
No,
true.
she is
We're
better at
learning.
revive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This game also has a mechanic that I really like in games. Is there is a time track, which for some reason we let Reed be in charge of, and
That was
No,
taken
it-
away from me real fast.
No, it
yeah,
varies if whoever is the first player in the game controls the time track.
well, once Reed was it, and I was like, this is a bold
The first
choice.
game.
You
The
know,
first
I
game
did
we
good
played.
after round 3. After round 3, I got it.
Well, there are these moments where, as it's going around the round tracker, that you have these variable things that come up at the end of, or when you hit this point on the round tracker, they're variable in what they do, but you basically have to make a selection about what your end game scoring ability will be. And so this could be something like you'll get 4 white cubes, and then the bottom one that we're choosing from is you could double up the 4 white cubes, or you could say, I will get 4 white cubes and 2 black cubes, or I don't know, something like that. And whichever choice you decide to make is attached to a resource. So it could be a crystal, it could be an upgraded crystal, it could be a person. And you're fighting this tug of war of, do I want the benefit, which could be a person or a crystal or whatever the extra thing is you get, or can I predict what I'm going to score the most points off of? And while in the beginning of the game, you're like, we'll see, maybe it'll help guide you. As you get later and later, you're also looking at those and maybe planting the seeds now of what you could score later on, because that's kind of the way you score points as well as your key cards. And I like that decision point. Like my end game scoring isn't decided now, it's decided in the future.
There's also a personal objective card that you have as well. There are 2 that you start with, and so you can kind of go towards both. So if you can align that with what you're choosing on the open information ones, I think that is key.
I feel like they're very cube related, and you discard one of those, and whichever you discard, you get all the resources on the bottom. So then you have another juicy decision point.
I do like that we do that during rounds 9 and 10. So you've been playing the game a little bit, enough to know what you should be going for at that point.
The personal objectives are hard. Like I think the one I've taken twice, you have to have 7 upgraded keys, and then you also have to have one of each of the 3 colors of the ability stones, or some of them I think you have to have 3 of the same cube color, or one of every 4 cube colors. And so in order to get, I think it's 15 points, either 12 or 15, you have to get both of those things. And it's like, it's a lot.
Yeah, especially because Gillian takes all the cubes.
Yes.
He's such a cube thief.
And these 2 also take all the ability stones. Also,
not
you are really bad.
Oh, no.
I was playing the ability stones wrong for a little bit. I was thinking that I had to leave more than one person or yeet more than one person for doing that. So I went a number of turns to try and get more people, to try and get this ability stone, which ended up just being a slippery slope of me playing poorly and wrong. So next time I will not do that. I will only yeet the appropriate amount of people.
Yeah, I think it costs more crystals.
There is something when you get more books, you have to yeet more people.
Yeah.
But I was doing that on my first column,
Yeah.
and I didn't need to do
I'm
that.
pretty sure it has to do with crystals. Like, I think as you go up, you have to get rid of a higher quality crystal when there's 2 left or just 1 left.
Which is very hard when somebody like Angela or Gillian goes around and steals all the stones before you get to them, so that you have to pay twice as much.
Those ones are sitting there for half the game, Reed.
You know
You
what?
could have gone there earlier.
That is because I've made my little nest and I'm excited to explore it.
This also has, to that point, is so you have your dual layer board and you slip in key cards, and then the fun part is if you get victory points and you move up to the track, I can't remember, I think the first one's maybe at 5 points or 6 points, you get kind of an upgrade token that everybody gets the same one, and that can upgrade one of your actions. So when you slide in your key card, the action is even cooler. So, there's one for movement. So if you're like, I can't get anything because I have to use so much movement, and you upgrade it and you're like, this is great. But it meant you had to move up the victory point tracker quicker and earlier. And I was like, ooh, you get cool stuff. And we played a game with Gillian where he was like, zipped up that track and just was like, haha. It reminded me, I think, there's a piece like that in Shackleton Base.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I love that. You have to balance getting victory points, resources, moving across the board, because if you get all of them, you unlock it.
Just saying, that's also a thing in SETI.
SETI has
Ooh.
boots.
No, not boots.
Progressing, you get things as you progress with the victory point.
Oh,
track.
yeah, that. Yes.
Reed went to a dark place.
Yeah,
She said
into
that.
a dark
She
place.
just
That
started
was
like
a
twitching.
flashback.
Because she was like, I couldn't go up the track.
I know,
couldn't get victory
couldn't.
points.
I couldn't.
I got to do one move.
This is an appropriate use of boots when it comes to movement, like in Clank
unlike
and in this.
Isle of Cats.
Unlike Isle of Cats, which I have gone on record a number of times, those boots mean nothing. These boots at least mean movement, and I appreciate that. Thank you, designers. Thank you, Paul Denon, for making boots mean something.
Is it?
It's not Paul Denon.
Yeah, wait a
What?
second.
Wait, were you
Not
just-
this. I
Oh.
already said Clank. We haven't
Okay,
talked about Paul
okay.
Denon yet in this episode,
you're
so there
bringing
was
him
a
in.
moment.
Oh my goodness.
My brain's very distracted now, and I just need to say real quick. Speaking of Paul Denon, you've got to play Butts in Space before you get rid of it, because you literally talked to Paul Denon about Butts in Space. So, side note.
Okay. The
don't
problem
forget.
with that is that means that we have to play Butts in Space too, and
Or it's the other board game group. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be perfect for the other board game
Yay.
group.
Have you finished Paul Denon's thank you card?
No.
Well, then we shouldn't be mandating.
Throwing ability stones in post-apocalyptic homes.
Exactly.
Okay, but the other thought that I wanted to add about the boots is that it's
They're
kind
boots.
of limited. I mean, you could only collect boot keys and things, but it probably helps that it's limited and not just like a free-for-all where you're just like, do I need all these boots?
I definitely used my ability stones to get more movement so I could move around my thing to eat more people than I needed to. So I spent a fair amount of time on boot travel.
When I was looking through reviews of this game, a lot of people felt strongly that the ability stones are the primary path to victory. And we've only played it 3 or 4 times, and I'm not sure that I disagree with that statement.
Yeah, I mean the game I won, I think I really leveraged the ability stones.
Wait, how many games of this did you win? I'm assuming you won more than one.
I don't know. I think I might
was
have
like,
only won one.
Didn't he win all of them? I
No,
don't
Becky
know.
won the first game.
Wow,
If I'm gonna win it-
congratulations.
well,
Good job, Becky.
Okay, if I'm going to win a game, it's the first game because Gillian hasn't figured out strategy yet,
Hmm.
and Reed is doing her thing, and you're doing your thing, and I'm like, I got this.
Becky won one game, I won 2. We played this 3 times.
Okay, not bad.
I do think ability stones, they're free actions, and the ones that I was getting, or the cards that I was collecting, or whatever you collect, there are a number of ways to use ability stones through cards, through that going up on the track, and by getting the upgraded pieces, or I don't know if they're upgraded, but you get these things that go in your
that are on the score track.
that are on the score track. I definitely got ones that will allow me to do like a extra build or excavate action.
Yeah, and one thing that's really key in this game, at least in my opinion, is as you construct buildings, you're going to reveal income spaces. So as you do the recall action, essentially pull everything off of or unlock all of your keys or reset all of your keys, and then for each key you reset, you're going to get an income. And so there are 3 basic ones available to you at the beginning of the game that are just there on your board. But as you construct buildings, you're going to unlock ones that are better. Essentially, you may be able to gain like a refined crystal. You may be able to gain a person onto the map. And so there are ones that are like useful for you as the game goes on, as you recall. And so that is another consideration as you construct buildings and whatnot.
I kind of can't believe we're this far in the podcast about a game called Recall, and we're just now talking about the part where you recall.
Or you don't recall
Well,
for too much of the game.
Yeah,
And then you try and figure out, is it too late to recall?
Yes. But also you can't go too far, because then it's the last turn and you're doing recall, and that is dumb. I mean, it is interesting. Like, I liked that mechanic in Revive as well, but in this game, you do it more frequently in the beginning because you have less keys and your keys do less things for you. But as you're getting your ability stones and you're chaining on things and you're getting to remove a key so you can put a new one, or you're duplicating it once you've updated that one so you don't have to pay a crystal, you're just really hanging on for a long time.
I think that's another reason why I like Recall. I don't know. I think it made me rethink how the card play is in Revive. Like, in a way, I see cards, and I'm like, is this a deck builder? I'm supposed to be building the best possible deck of cards to then be able to play. And you can do the same thing. You can remove cards so that you can do that action again and use the top or the bottom. But I think I really like the key card system as something a little more streamlined than the cards, because I don't have 2 options for the key cards. I put it in, and then I choose between the free action, when I want to do that one, versus the mandated action. And with the cards, there is a little bit more thinking and strategy, because you're like, do I put it at the top? Do I put it at the bottom? Do I get cards that then go on top of each other? And it doesn't feel like a deck building game, because it like isn't, but maybe has a little bit of.
I think Revive is a deck building game, and sometimes we play with the starter cards, but you can also draft cards and build the best deck, because whenever you explore in Revive, you get to bring a new card in. There are some other actions that allow you to do that, but I definitely build a deck with Revive.
Yeah, maybe that's why I don't do well, because I don't build a deck. I'm like, I don't know, you get 6 of them.
You might start with 6 of
Well,
them.
you probably end with 6 of them, to be honest. You're like,
Yeah.
I got 7.
Do we need to count your keys for you?
No, I only had 2 for quite some time.
The 2 you start with. 2.
Womp womp.
I know.
I know, it's bad.
I really like Revive. I think it's an amazing game. And we have added the jellyfish expansion, so when we play it, there's more complexity to it, which I complain about every time. Like, I think I like it, but also there's just like a little bit more going on than I want. But I did feel like playing Recall felt kind of refreshing. Like Breed said in the very beginning, it definitely has the DNA, and maybe Gillian's the one who specifically said DNA, but they definitely learned from Revive, and they really streamlined some of the actions in the game, and I think they did a really nice job. I think it's a great game.
It's like the Care Bear cousin to Revive for me. Like, I love Revive, but the Care Bear cousins were a little bit weird. Sometimes you just wanted a Care Bear, but then you got a Care Bear cousin. You did learn to love it, but it still was like, oh, maybe I just want a normal Care Bear.
This is like Transformers versus GoBots.
What's a GoBot?
They were the janky Transformers.
Well, nobody wanted those. so.
Nobody wanted
I wasn't allowed
those.
to watch cartoons, so I
Okay.
didn't get into Transformers.
All right, weirdo. Well, and I have a question because we think about who the game is for. Gillian, you own both of these copies. How do you see that evolving within your collection?
Honestly, I think I would be content with just Revive. So we've played Revive a number of times. It's one of my favorite games. And Recall we've played 3 times. And even the first play, I was a little, not, I guess soured is kind of a term I'd use. It wasn't as, it didn't impress me as much as I was hoping it would. And I just felt like what it was doing, I preferred how it was done in Revive, is generally how I felt. From the exploration of tiles, like you go back, you loved the simplicity, but I liked that at the end game of Revive, not all of the tiles are flipped over. And I liked that because whoever carved a path through the terrain, it made it easier for other people to follow. And so I liked that aspect. Whereas in Recall, every game we played, except for maybe the first one, all of the tiles are flipped. And so it wasn't necessarily a game you could do everything in, obviously, but it was just the end state felt like it would probably be samey every time and that all of the tiles would be flipped. You would see everything. And I guess going back to it, I just think I like how Revive does things better than it was done in Recall.
Ditto to that. You said it very eloquently. Revive feels so distinct to me, and the experience that I have when I play Revive, I just get lost in it. I get lost in the technology tracks and building out your machines and building the deck that Angela doesn't know as a deck builder. But I love doing so much of the different components or mechanics within Revive. And Recall, even though it has some things that I absolutely enjoyed, I love the keys. I love choosing which actions. That's what I loved the most of that game. And the rest of the game did seem more evocative of other plays or other games that we had. And I'm not able to put my finger exactly on it. I just have felt that level of familiarity when I've played games or had those similar feelings, where Revive has taken me to a completely unique place where I get to enjoy the colors, enjoy the theme, enjoy the play.
Yeah, and I would say one thing, as you were talking about that, one thing that came to mind is what I really like about Revive is that it's an engine builder in a way. Like you're constructing this engine that hums, and you get to see it come to fruition, at least in my case.
Yeah, I was like, dang.
Whereas in Recall, you don't really get an engine going. It's just an efficiency puzzle because you are playing over, 13 rounds? Whatever it is in Recall, you have a prescribed number of turns that you're going to take. Revive is open-ended. It depends on how quickly players claim the alien artifacts, the major alien artifacts. And that is the timer for the end game. Whereas in Recall, it is prescribed. There's a certain number of turns that you'll get. You know it at the beginning of the game. You need to be efficient. And I generally like those puzzles, but in the face of Revive or in comparison to Revive, I just prefer the kind of race aspect of Revive. Of you want to be efficient, you want to create an efficiency puzzle, but you're also kind of increasing this engine that you're making and trying to eke out the victory over your opponents.
Angela, I enjoy both games, so who are you recommending this game to from your point of view, side of the table?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't have the baggage of Revive being my favorite game, for sure. It's not in my top.
I mean, according to our last podcast, it was our second favorite game.
Yeah, no, it wasn't mine. It didn't make my top 27. So
Wow.
it's a game that I'll play, and I always say it's fine. It's a fine game. I'll play it. I'm not opposed to it. I don't hate it, like how Reed hates Great Western Trail. But it doesn't resonate in the same way that it does for other folks at the table. So I'm more than happy to play. It's just never a game I'll request. And Recall is one that I really enjoyed. So maybe my advice is if you didn't quite vibe with Revive, give Recall a try. And I don't know who I would play it with, though. because I do think it's a crunchier game, so you're gonna want to play it with people who are fine with all of these moving pieces. It's streamlined. I think it's probably an easier teach for folks than maybe Revive is, because the tracks are a little more streamlined. There isn't branching tracks or getting resources, but that's the hard part. I think it's a really good, mid-heavy game. So I like it a lot more, if you can't tell, Becky.
Well, how would you recommend it to someone who hasn't played Revive? Like, and I guess I'm going to open this up to the rest of the table. It doesn't have to be the Angela show, but like, how do you choose which one you buy if you're going to buy one?
I would say if you are looking for a game that has a kind of a definitive timeline in a way, like Recall might be where it's at for you, where there's a set number of turns that you're going to take throughout the game. You need to be efficient. It's an efficiency puzzle. But if you're more open for like kind of an open-ended exploration game that's more of a race, I would say Revive is more for you. And also kind of tech tracks in a way. Revive has that aspect over Recall, I would say, because your individual board is really just 3 technology tracks that intertwine in some way that'll unlock special abilities that are potentially unique to you, whereas you have shared tracks that you're going up on Recall, kind of similar to Terra Mystica, similar to Age of Innovation and those kind of games.
This game, we have not played Age of Innovation in a very long time. And this game did remind me a little bit of that, because I feel like I don't know, Gillian played it much better than I did, but you would take these tiles that were distinct and you would select which one you wanted. And that to me reminded me of the act of like taking the keys and figuring out where the keys went. And that is the strongest part for me of that game. But Revive is a little bit lighter. It's like a 3.4 or so, and Recall is like a 3.6. So I don't think it's that different in gameplay, but I do think Revive, for me, is easier to grasp. It's simpler in some way.
That shocked me. I definitely thought Recall would be a lower complexity than Revive.
Well, you came from playing Revive, so you have that background and that familiarity with that game system and those designers. So,
whoa.
Could also be that not enough people have played Recall yet to rank it, because it's the newer one, and Revive has been around for a few more years, so more players have gotten it to the table. Recall could drop in
That's
its
true.
crunchy level.
Reed also always likes to point out that people rank differently now.
That's true, but Revive is like a relatively new game. You know, it's only 4 years old.
Is that it?
Well, according to Gillian.
Oh, I always think it's older.
No, according to Angela, who said 2022, although it was at the end of 2022, I think.
I don't listen to Angela.
Wow.
Becky.
Podcast is over.
Sweet, we get to play games now.
No, we
No, we don't.
we have another one to record.
Time to go again.
Wah, wah.
Thank you for listening to Board Game Homies. Drop us a line on Instagram, maybe Blue Sky, YouTube kinda, and Board Game Geek. Bye-bye. I still have to do the second part.
I know.
Yeah. Think of
Okay,
Angela.
thank you for shooting
worth
down
it.
my really...
Dumb idea. Yeah.
you're a dumb
No.
idea.
Whoa.
Thank you, Gillian. It was good.
You're a Gillian.
My life would probably be easier if I were. So.
Should definitely win more games.
Yeah. At least 42% more.
She would have a lot more favorite games than she does now.
It would be all
I love all the games. Great Western Trail. It's my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. That would never be my favorite.
So rude.
To that game doesn't deserve my compassion.
That is her most hated game of all time, I think.
No Earth.
No, I think it's Great
I
Western
would
Trail.
rather, hot take, play Earth for like 42 minutes than Great Western Trail for 17 hours.
Would you play Earth for 17 hours?
No.
Oh.
I'm just saying Great Western Trail takes a very long time. Thank you for listening to Board Game Homies.
You can find us on YouTube and
Not Blue Sky.
Instagram.
Okay.
Awkward. Okay.